Why would you form a gang? Why would you become part of a gang? Well, strength is in numbers, and if the law itself is against you, it's very probable that you would want to defend yourself one way or the other. Either that, or you just accept your fate. Now, the latter one is not really a model of living, at least not one that I would advocate for. That's why I believe gangster rap is such a popular, or was such a popular thing and even came into existence in the first place. It's not that people, specifically that the black community, was completely against the law and against order or such things. No, it's just that the order proposed and the laws given were, up to a certain point in time, ludicrously unfair. And most importantly, like, devastatingly degrading. If somebody has the right to lynch you, let me just tell you, that's not good. If somebody has the right to just beat the living shit out of you, if somebody has the right to tell you which specific step or stairs to take because they believe you are of a lesser, you are a lesser being, then I, at a certain point in time, would just be like, you know what? Fuck all of you. You believe you have the right to talk down to me because you think you are superior to me based upon nothing. Based upon your grandpa's fucking racist ramblings. Hell fucking no. I'm gonna join this gang. And I'm gonna use my Second Amendment right to get armed. By the way, there's not a real gun. Which is why I understand why quite a few people also like this idea of gang violence to a certain context, at least in the context of romanticizing it. But like, the real point of it is not that you are from the streets and from the hood and yes and boom, yeah. If you're from the fucking middle class, that's just something that you should not aspire to be. Because it's not something that you need to be, because you are basically in a pretty good position. If you are down in the gutter and all that you can feel is the heels of the law just kicking down upon you, then obviously joining a band seems to be, joining a gang seems to be, joining a band and becoming a one-hit wonder. Joining a gang seems to be like the most plausible of all actions to take. Aaron Gruder's The Boondocks, to just change the subject here, is an interesting, if not one of the best shows I've ever seen. Up until season 4, but season 4 is not Aaron Gruder's The Boondocks, it's just Comedy Central's The Boondocks. You'll know what I mean. And one of the most important, one of the three basic main characters, you got Huey Freeman, Riley Freeman, and Robert Freeman. Huey Freeman is the black activist who's really trying to make life better. He's the intellectual, the voice of reason in the show. Huey Freeman is 2 years younger than Riley Freeman is 2 years younger than Huey Freeman, and he's basically the heavily pop culturally influenced, naive kid who's just trying to be gangster because that's what his idols do on TV. He's currently, like, I'm not sure where they lived before that. They kind of came from Chicago, I believe, based upon the newspaper short funnies that they put out during the late 90s, early 2000s. And but no, right now he has no reason to be part of a gangster, to have a gangster image. As such, specifically because there's actually like a collection of shorts, of newspaper shorts, in which he discovers that it's kind of weird for a gangster to live on Timid Deer Lane, which is the street on which they reside. And then we got Robert Freeman, who's the oldest and the one with the most conservative views, and you know, a bit of a, you know how it is, like his values don't quite coincide with modern society. Riley Freeman is an interesting character, and one of the best characters there is in the show, because quite a few people actually like compare themselves to him, or rather they sympathize with him, they empathize with him, because they believe that his, like, what he's doing is like the truth, and yeah, he's telling it as it is, when the author would tell you probably that Riley is a fucking idiot to a certain extent.
So I can pee in the toilet and it's okay. But if I pee on a person, it's like, not okay.
He isn't too naive to understand reality. He doesn't understand that a 14-year-old should not be pissed upon by an adult because Like, even if she wants that, because she is not of legal age, she doesn't have the rights yet to decide this by her own. Once she turns 18, that's no longer a problem. But up until then, R. Kelly should not piss on her, to be specific. That's the example that they gave. And however, the video clip of him explaining, like Riley explaining that, oh well, if she didn't want to be pissed upon, she should have just walked out of the way. This video has quite a few comments, and these comments claim that basically, oh yeah, he's right, he's definitely right. Oh, that's just brilliant logic, man. Like, it sounds as if they legitimately believe he's given a good argument, but all that he did was make an idiot out of himself. Logic that he provides is not very sound. Just like his logic is that he's a fan of like this gangster rap, this fictitious gangster rap called Gangstalicious. Just go with the name is dumb, but there's another person in the show called Thugnificent. And this rapper, Gangstalicious, turns out to be gay. And at first, Riley doesn't even want to have this fact be reality, even though he literally saw Gangstalicious, the dude he admired, kissing another dude. But he just waved that off as having a hallucination about that. To which his bigger brother responded with, you know, do you often have hallucinations or fantasies about your idols kissing another man?
You the one who said he kissed another man.
What I had said was them dudes knocked me upside my head and I dreamed he kissed another man.
How often do you have dreams about men kissing?
Shut up.
I never dream about my heroes kissing other men.
Man, stop. This whole conversation is making me uncomfortable.
I dreamt about Muhammad Ali just last night, but he was fighting Joe Frazier, not kissing him.
Gay ass niggas.
And like Riley is in such a deep denial because hip hop culture up to that point, specifically gangster rap culture, has told him that being gay and a rapper doesn't really coincide. It seems to be like a contradiction in and of itself. And he just goes out of his way to always deny that, to always stand firm on his ground that, nah, Gangstalicious ain't gay. Even when like, he argues that he's like totally not gay. Why he's wearing something that looks as if it's like it's a fucking tank top and a skirt. It goes it's just above his knees, and he's still.
These are Gangstalicious shorts for thugs. See, they got an extra flap with a pocket, so you hide what you want to hide from the police.
Up to this point, if you still thought that he is the person who you're supposed to be rooting for when it comes to sound arguments, then I have bad news for you. This is not a good argument. None of what he's saying are good arguments, like most of the time. Sometimes he has a bit of truth to him, but he's supposed to be the naive one. Whatever Huey Freeman in this show says is supposed to be the sound argument. I don't understand why so many people want to root for Riley's dumbass, idiotic, absolutely mind-bogglingly stupid logic. Why? Like, god damn it, the pissing thing was dumb enough. But that gay thing, like, he believes that because Gangstalicious is gay, that he himself is gay because he's a fan of his. Ah yes, I do see how that bloody works. Ah yes, yeah. No, like definitely. You know that I actually got like an extended iris because like one of my eyes, the iris is always extended. As you can see in the background, right there, that's a David Bowie album. I got that expanded iris because I'm a David Bowie fan. How the fuck do you misinterpret this shit? Just look at quite a few comment sections below Boondock clips. I don't understand this. It's just fucking hell. Okay, yeah. Fuck. This is so dumb. Yeah, but seriously though, I recommend to all of you that you watch the Boondocks. And as a little bit of a closing statement, something that I realized, it's important that you get the context. Aaron Gruder is not saying like that all black people are aggressive fucking idiots and that they are stupid. No, what he's saying is that there are quite a few people in that community who are aggressive, stupid, and they are quite often the loudest voices. However, this is true for all communities, and that they misrepresent what this community actually stands for, what it can represent, and therefore these are the kind of things you should see as a problem. And Huey is someone who tries to work out solutions to these problems, but his voice of reason is rarely listened to. Which is the point of the show. The point of the show is not to draw black people as idiots. It's supposed to draw quite a few ideas within the community of black people as idiotic, which are not unsolvable. And Aaron Gruder knows that. As another little tidbit about the show, I once watched a few of these clips in German, and oh god, that just doesn't work, because the cultural context of the African American experience, more specifically of the American experience as such, which gives the whole show more context. Like, for example, the use of the N-word is in context, like, specifically in the show, it is supposed to signify, it's like the N-word moment. I'm just going to go with N-word because if I say the actual word, then that's going to get me into some controversy, which is like really not needed. I'm talking about the show, I'm not talking about racist slurs. Anyway, the N-word moment, which is supposed to refer to a black person doing something in the heat of the moment, out of a very illogical desire. You know, sort of like something idiotic, something that everybody can do. It's just an idiot moment.
A nigger moment. Webster defines the nigger moment as a moment when ignorance overwhelms the mind of an otherwise logical Negro male.
That's what the N-word moment is supposed to entail. But I watched the clip in German, and there it really appeared like they were trying to say that all black people around the bloody world are prone to aggression, like naturally. That was awful. Like, this translation didn't work because the word that they choose, like, in German there is not really like this kind of a differentiation. Like, it comes off as legitimately racist because you don't have this concept of within my country. Like, Germany is not comprised out of a long history of immigration, like, at least not to the extent that America is. America consists out of Asian immigrants, African immigrants, whether or not those were immigrants that came on their own will is debatable. African immigrants, European immigrants, is that another continent? South American immigrants. You know, all that mixes together, and therefore when you say the blacks, the whites, the Jews and whatever, you're not referring to all the fucking people around the world who could be called Jewish, or all the fucking people around the world who could be called black. You're referring to the people who became part of the American society, of the US American society, and that is, contextually speaking, an entirely different world than the kind of people who are just black around the world, or the people who are just white around the world, because people who are white around the world can involve people from Germany like me, but also some dude who lives in South Africa, or perhaps an Irish person, or who knows, perhaps it's some dude who lives in South America. Just like being black could involve some dude who lives in Paris, who lives in Tanzania, who lives in the US of A. The problem is that, like, translating this doesn't really work if you have specific countries where most of the population is predominantly one demographic, which is just basically based upon the fact that things didn't mix quite as intensely as it did in America, because America, once again, is like a country that is based upon a different cultural background. We do, like, obviously in Germany we do have black people, we do have Asian people, but like, it's not the same kind of specific percentual representation you find. Like, the next best thing we have in Germany when it comes to that is Turkish people, and they came in the 70s. It's not like the kind of people who came during the 1400s or something in America. Okay, that was a lot of stuff. I hope that I made it clear what I'm trying to tell you, that context is important, and racism is an interesting topic that I could tackle on next, but social context is important. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, with that said, see you around.